From Cincinnati, Ohio, you're watching American women's basketball on ESPN. The Cincinnati Bearcats are perfect in home openers under Michelle Clark-Hurd. Tonight they look to make it 5-0 against Tennessee Tech. Thank you for joining us courtside in Fifth Third Arena alongside the longtime coach, including in the WNBA, A.B. Stocks. I'm Anthony Mazzini. Both of these teams off to a good start. Cincinnati played Louisville really tight on Monday, and Tennessee Tech picked up a close win against Ball State.
With both of these teams coming off one a win and one a loss, you would think that the momentum skewed in one's favor, but it's not. Louisville was a tough matchup. They just pulled away from the Bearcats at the end, and Ball State, a great matchup for Tech. Tech really came out with a close one, so it'll be an interesting dichotomy in today's game.
Braylon Milton went off on Monday for Cincinnati down at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. Brand new career high, 28 points, A.B.
Well, what we love about watching Braylon Milton play is her quickness with the ball. Quick release, right on her feet, and that is what enabled her to go 5 for 5 from the three-point line. And on top of that, in her academics, she was not only a freshman of the year, but also academic all-conference.
On the other side for Tennessee Tech, Jordan Brock missed all of last season, got hurt right before the season began, but they are certainly glad to have her back, the program's all-time leader in three-point makes.
Well, we love to see Jordan Brock attacking the basket, sprinting the court in transition, but her bread and butter is her three-point game. She has 5 years in this Tech program, so she is experienced, she is poised, she is their leader and their coach on the court.
Milton and Brock go head-to-head tonight, the 8th all-time meeting between Cincinnati and Tennessee Tech. The Bearcats blew them out back in 2016, but it seems to be a bit of an anomaly. Tennessee Tech is one of the winningest all-time programs in women's college basketball.
When you look at the strength of the Ohio Valley Conference, it's undeniable to have Tech's strength show time after time again.
Well, we are ready to go inside Fifth Third Arena, the home opener for the Cincinnati Bearcats tonight, coming off a tough loss on Monday against number 7 Louisville. And Tennessee Tech already 1-0 this season, trying to improve to 2-0 and get back to even all time against Cincinnati. Currently, Bearcats lead 4-3. First of 3 matchups this season against Ohio Valley teams for Cincinnati. We are underway with Maya Jackson, and she'll take that wide open. We have the first points of the game, goes to Maya Jackson.
Well, you know right off the bat, Maya Jackson's going to come in really looking to attack Tech. You can't lose her on the scouting report on the first possession.
And a missed assignment there for Tennessee Tech. Maya Jackson, the transfer from Seton Hall, opens the scoring for Cincinnati. Here's Jada Gwynn for Tennessee Tech. She's really the engine that makes this Tennessee Tech team go. 7 to shoot. Gwynn having some trouble, and she's called for a 5-second violation. Good defense early for the Bearcats.
Great job executing the low corner ball screen switch with the aggressiveness. And again, who gets credit for that? Jackson with the denial on the post feed.
Well, Cincinnati goes with Braylon Milton, Jaden Scott, Jillian Hayes, Maya Jackson, and Ariel Jackson. So 2 Jacksons in the starting lineup for Cincinnati today, and 3 guards, A.B. Michelle Clark-Hurd really likes this lineup with the 3 guards.
With the pace that Cincinnati likes to play up and down, you got to have that quickness on the perimeter.
Milton misfires from long range. Jackson tries to keep it in play, but she cannot. And she falls over next to Kim Rosamond, the Tennessee Tech head coach. Well, there is Kim Rosamond in her 7th season. 2019 Ohio Valley Coach of the Year. Had a lot of success, especially recently, on that Tech sideline.
You like to see what Coach has done with the program and the culture. She talked about how keeping the culture consistent year after year is why they've been able to be so successful.
Brock on the handoff, and she nails the 3. We talked about it, A.B. The program's all-time leader in three-point makes, and she adds another there.
You like to see her getting her shot warmed up early. She came out a little cold against Ball State.
Jillian Hayes on the drive. With the left, she banks it in. Nice downhill attack from Jillian Hayes, former all-conference freshman team selection a few years ago.
Hayes has big responsibilities for the Bearcats, not just with her scoring, but with her defense. You see, inside presence right now is all on Hayes' shoulder.
Speaking of inside, Tech goes down low to Walker. Tries to muscle her way up. Hurst knocks around the miss, but it's taken down by Ariel Jackson for Cincinnati.
Now this is a time where we get to see the freshman really do her thing in the open court.
Now Michelle Clark-Hurd was very complimentary of Ariel Jackson, saying that she's really talented, can get downhill and go by anybody. And Michelle Clark-Hurd today interested to see how her team responds after that loss against Louisville, because they really played tough in that second half. And right on cue, there's a nice drive by Jackson.
Oh, you talk about Anthony going downhill. That's about as downhill as a force as you can get. Tough angle, and Jackson's able to keep her composure and get it in.
Hurst wide open, but she's a little long. And Tech has the offensive rebound. Owens now for three. That rattles home.
With the way the Bearcats pressure the basketball on defense, they're going to have to really rotate quickly. And they maybe miss a couple assignments here and there, and Tech capitalizing and getting the open three.
Milton puts it on the floor, runs into Brock defensively. Jackson blowing into the lane again, leads it off for Hayes for the short jump.
Great teamwork, a little inside-out action, but to the short out. Jackson, nice little foot pass.
Tennessee Tech breaks the press, wide open for Walker. Tracked down by Gwynn in the corner. These teams playing bucket for bucket right now, and that's an encouraging sign for Cincinnati. Over the last couple of years, AB, they've struggled to get off to good starts. And right now, a much better start today compared to the one they had against Louisville on Monday.
Well, in shoot-around today, we saw them talking about pressure and getting good starts and coming out intense. You heard not just Coach Clark-Hurd, but the assistant coaches as well, reiterating the importance of getting a quick start, coming out strong, and that's what the Bearcats are doing.
Malaya Williams in for Cincinnati, replacing Jaden Scott. Here's Brock on the drive. Looking for Walker, that's taken away by Hayes. Williams out in front of the pack. Brock knocks it away and takes a hard tumble into the cheerleading section.
Great defensive effort by Hayes to come up with the steal, and credit Jackson for the deflection that led to that. And of course, the Scots always sprinting the court, and Malaya.
8-6 Cincinnati in the early going, approaching the 6-minute mark. Dumped down to Hayes, and she's grabbed. And Jillian Hayes draws so much attention on the offensive end. The offense for Cincinnati really runs through that 4 spot, and that's one of the reasons why Michelle Clark-Hurd has played Jillian Hayes more at that forward spot this year. She can take it up the floor, she can play the 5 if she needs to, but that 4 spot seems to be her best spot.
And she's so strong. And with the way that Cincinnati pressures, the fact that they can allow Jillian Hayes to be the 4 and not have to sacrifice defensively is a big credit to her overall game.
Off-ball foul called against the Bearcats here, so it goes back the other way. Foul called on Hayes, her first. And Tennessee Tech gets another offensive possession. Here's Brock. Good defense from Maya Jackson. Wraparound pass to the corner, Malia Owens for 3. 3 makes from downtown for Tennessee Tech.
Well, the Bearcats really doing what they do and extending the pressure. The baseline drive and drift pass is a tough shot to go.
Dump down low to Williams. She's falling down and finds Hayes, but cannot capitalize on the good pass from Williams, and now Tennessee Tech has a chance to extend the lead. Owens again for 3. That one rattles out. Offensive rebound for Walker. And grabbed by Hurst. Here's Walker. And now Brock on the baseline drive. Again, the kick to the corner. 5 to shoot. Hurst is blocked by Williams.
You love the discipline by the Bearcat defense. Everyone kept her hands up and came out of that possession clean.
Jillian Hayes down low, tries to muscle it up. Tipped out of bounds off of Malaya Williams. And it'll go back to Tennessee Tech. When we come back, 4:48 to go in the first quarter. Couple of 3-point mates for Tennessee Tech, has them in front by 1 over Cincinnati early in the first quarter. Well, so far, AB, we've talked a lot about the returners for Cincinnati, the Jillian Hayes, the Braylon Milton, but some new faces for this Bearcats team as well. Deja Trotter coming over from Rend Lake College, Maya Jackson from Seton Hall, and Ariel Jackson, the lone freshman on this Bearcats roster, but regrouping a little bit this season for Michelle Clark-Hurd, bringing in those three.
So strategic to bring in these three players who are all just phenomenal in their own right. So starting with Deja Trotter, illuminating scorer at the junior college level, leading the nation in scoring. And then, of course, we've got Jackson, who's showing us what she can do as a leader, as a point guard. And then we've got the freshman sensation, who, again, we mentioned that her mother, Kim, an wonderful, magnificent WNBA superstar who just was legendary, and her, I guess, experience remains legendary in and of itself.
Here's the other Jackson, Maya Jackson, skying in, but she can't finish in transition. Ariel's mom, Kim, played in the WNBA, 4th overall pick in the '97 draft. Certainly some good bloodlines for Ariel Jackson.
If you know New York Liberty, you know Ariel's mother, Kim.
Maya Jackson again, but she's swatted from behind by Owens. So we get a foul called underneath.
You've got to keep pushing the pace, and this is the first free throw of the game. What's interesting is we've gone 5 minutes and 6 minutes into the quarter now. First free throws, only the 3rd foul call of the game. It's going to be a clean game, but Cincinnati's still got to keep their foot on the gas and attack, attack, attack.
Maya Jackson had a good debut for Cincinnati, 12 points against Louisville. She did turn it over 8 times, though. That's a bit uncharacteristic for Maya Jackson, something she'll look to clean up today. 1 of 2 at the line, tipped out of bounds by Williams, and Tennessee Tech gets it back.
In addition to attacking the basket off the bounce, Bearcats have to keep doing what Williams is doing. She's showing us attack the basket off of the offensive boards. Every board is an opportunity for possession.
Right now, Tennessee Tech out-rebounding Cincinnati 9-3. And that'll certainly be pleasing to Kim Rosamond. Her team was out-rebounded by 20 against Ball State on Monday. She acknowledged we're a smaller team this season. We're going to be more perimeter-oriented, but still need to do a better job on the glass, and they're doing it so far tonight. Good drive by Peyton Carter to earn a trip to the line.
Well, we talked about it being a low foul game, Anthony, and just that quickly it can change when you start attacking the basket. So we see Coach Clark-Hurd encouraging the Bearcats to keep their feet on the ground, keep their hands straight up in the air.
Peyton Carter at the line out of Abingdon, Virginia. And Peyton Carter's a player that Kim Rosamond calls the glue of this team. Your typical team-first player, unselfish, plays hard, energy booster when she comes into the game. And she said, I mean this in the best way possible. She has a little bit of junkyard dog in her.
That's always a compliment when a coach says that about a player, particularly at this level, a scrappy guard.
Jackson fouled by Quinn. So now all of a sudden, you mentioned it, AB, no fouls before that media timeout, and we have 3 over the last couple minutes.
I think we know what the coaches highlighted during that timeout.
Kayla Cowart is in for Tennessee Tech, one of their freshmen. Historically, Tennessee Tech has not played a lot of freshmen, but they just had a big graduating class last season, and now some more freshmen have to come into the fold this year. Milton tries to bank it in, but she leaves it short, and Grimes has the rebound for the Golden Eagles.
Milton's going to keep attacking the basket. She's going to have to put up a lot of shots tonight. I got a feeling it's going to be a high possession game. Expect her to just put up the numbers.
Hill with the hook shot on a nice pass coming from Carter. Offensive foul called against Clarissa Craig.
That's Craig's 2nd foul now in just her brief 2 minutes in the game. The Bearcats are going to need to have some strong minutes from Craig. She's a little shaky sometimes with her confidence inside on defense because she is so used to playing aggressive and she doesn't want to pick up those fouls. but she's got to keep her offensive and defensive aggressiveness with her footwork. Coach Bridget Gordon's been working with her a lot, and she's really going to grow in that area over the season.
That's the big knock on Clarissa Craig. She played 8 minutes against Louisville, and she fouled out. And 2 fouls in about a minute of action here against Tennessee Tech tonight. Here's Brock on the catch and shoot. Long rebound and out of bounds over towards us, but it'll stay with Tennessee Tech.
You know, you talk about all the things that coach has to juggle in a game, and managing rotations is going to be key. When you have a player like Craig, who's a key rotational player, especially to spell Hayes, when she gets in foul trouble, it's really going to affect the way Coach Clark can manage her rotations.
Cowart looking to kick it out. Brock with 5 to shoot. Long skip. Here's Carter. Rebound tracked down by Cowart. And a tough shot. Hayes has the miss. But look at the scrappiness of Tennessee Tech. Cowart on the baseline, and she's out of bounds.
Is that what Coach is talking about with a little bit of, in Coach's words, junkyard dog, and just a scrappy player, gonna hustle, gonna fight? Hayes 1-on-4.
The Bearcats earn it back, but not without the lack of hustle from Tennessee Tech. Bearcats keep it here, the deflection by Grimes. Oh no, they're saying Tennessee Tech basketball. I thought that was tipped out by the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Hayes may have just got a little fingertip on it there at the end, but it looked, and that may be what the official saw.
So Golden Eagles by 4, trying to come into Cincinnati today and beat the Bearcats. Brock from the wing. Rims out there, and Jackson has the miss.
What you like about Jackson so far is immediately as she got that rebound, her head was up looking down the court in transition. They can score quick, and you can get the ball quickly into Hayes' hands when you have an outlet that's ready to look up the court.
Wow, both of these teams want to go quick. Carter with the miss at the other end. Milton with the chop step, spinning in the lane. And she'll go to the line for a couple. That's the Braylon Milton that you were talking about earlier, right? Can shoot from the outside, but some good quick feet on the inside as well.
She has the hesitation, and the little hezzy she gave right before she drove with the little head nod, it was just enough to give her an edge. And then you mentioned her footwork, Anthony. She pivots down at the rim. Pivots at the rim are very challenging, and they put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Well, Braylon Milton, of course, had the 28 points in that game against Louisville on Monday night. New career high for the sophomore. She was on the all-freshman team last season. You and I were talking about Braylon Milton before the game today. You liken her to some of the players that you've seen over the course of your career.
Oh, yeah. So she is a player who puts me in the mindset, not only in her frame and her build, but a little bit with her style of play of a Kalia Copper. You know, Kalia Copper received the MVP of the finals of the WNBA, and Milton has that quickness, that agility, and that versatility to her game. Now, obviously not at that level yet,
sure,
but if she works toward, that would be a player I think she could turn anything.
Nice offensive rebound for Jillian Hayes, and she lays it in to pull the Bearcats ahead by 1. The Bearcats have a lot of youth on this group, Milton being part of that. Hayes now a junior, and a good layup here in traffic for Hayes off the miss.
The way that the Bearcats are attacking the basket is going to give some offensive rebounding opportunities. So whether it's Williams or Hayes, Bearcats keep attacking the basket and coming up with these nice points right under the rim. The easy ones, as we like to say.
And encouraging to see for Cincinnati picking up some points in the paint. They were outscored by 30 in the paint against Louisville on Monday, and by 12 in second chance points. So not only do you get the second chance points, you also get the points in the paint on that Jillian Hayes layup.
Rebounding is something that Hayes is going to have to really step up big for the Bearcats with, 3 rebounds at Louisville. She's the type of player who I think Coach Clark Hurd is going to look for maybe about 5 or 6 rebounds per night from her.
Last season, Hayes averaged 11 and 6. Under a minute to play first quarter. Tennessee Tech trying to get the lead back. Reagan Grimes, baseline drive. Rattles out. And Jada Scott has the rebound. One of 2 Scotts, they're twins, one of 15 twins in college basketball this year. El Fatari for 3, way too long. Good awareness by Brock, recognizing this might be a final shot opportunity for Tennessee Tech. Backdoor cut, Cowart lays it off. Walker spinning inside with the left, nicely done.
The Bearcats are trying to be aggressive on that last possession.
So now it's Cincinnati with a chance for the final shot of the first quarter. Ariel Jackson. Milton has to heave. Tennessee Tech goes into the first half break up by 1. They played point for most of the first quarter. But Tennessee Tech emerges with a 1-point lead after 1 here in Cincinnati. 15-14. A lot of scoring inside. Tennessee Tech with a 1-point lead as we go to the second quarter in Cincinnati. AB, you talked about this earlier. Tennessee Tech in the Ohio Valley Conference, very formidable, and especially for Tennessee Tech over the last couple of seasons. 4 consecutive 20-win seasons. That includes 10 or more wins in conference play. 21 wins last season, 14 conference wins last year, and they won a WNIT game, their first in 16 years. Talk about a good season.
Yeah, those numbers and those benchmarks are very difficult to attain. So a lot of credit goes to Coach Rosamond for continually year after year producing this high quality output.
Certainly helped last season that Tennessee Tech had 4 1,000-point scorers on their roster. They returned just 1 of those. They lose a lot from last season. Anna Jones, a first-team All-Conference selection. Mackenzie Coleman, a second-team All-Ohio Valley Conference. And it's a little bit of a different look Tennessee Tech team this year. Not as much of a post presence, but they'll spread it out a little bit more and more of the kick and drive game to their shooters.
And you know, that matches up well with how the Bearcats are playing right now. The defensive pressure from the Bearcats can really be extended, especially against teams like Tech, who are, some would say, maybe a small type of a team.
Sure. A couple of misses on both sides here. And Trotter gets her hands on that to deflect it out. Yeah, Kim Rosamond said that, you know, with all our ball handlers, we're going to have to stay composed with that Cincinnati pressure, but for the most part, we want to get out and run in transition, use that speed and use that athleticism to our advantage. Walker on the short jumper leaves it a little bit too strong. Bearcats struggling to hold on to a rebound right now. Finally, they get it to Jackson. Jillian Hayes hopping inside. Cannot get the roll, but a couple at the line coming for the junior Jillian Hayes.
Hayes showing us why she's so tough to guard. She can drive right, she can drive left, she can shoot, she can bring it up in transition. What can't she do?
You talked about it earlier, AB. The fact that they have the offense kind of running through her not only helps her own individual numbers, but it's a team game, right? It impacts the rest of the roster around her.
It does. When you're a guard, particularly you take Ariel Jackson, for example. She's used to having the ball in her hands a lot. But when you have a teammate now like Hayes, who can get a rebound and then start the push on her own, you hear Coach Clark Hurd yelling, run the court, run the court. Jillian can bring it up herself.
So many shooters around Hayes this year as well. You had Deja Trotter, you had Maya Jackson, Braylon Milton led the team in three-point shooting last year. So much around Hayes on the perimeter this year. Good drive by Hurst, but a better alteration by Jillian Hayes. And look at her right on cue, taking it up the floor.
And then what does that do? It gets Jackson in the open court, able to attack, like he said, downhill quickly.
A little bit too strong, and Walker has the miss. Bearcats by 1 early second quarter. Cowart wanted that backdoor with Brock, instead the dribble handoff. Now to Owens. Owens, tough drive with the right, too strong. Scott, blocked from behind by Hurst. I beg your pardon, that's Walker.
This juncture in the game is where Craig's fouls really come into play, because we see Hayes is winded, but now there's no substitute option for Hayes with Craig because of those early fouls.
Brock misses the short jumper. Trotter has the rebound. Yeah, 2 early fouls for Clarissa Craig and only about a minute of action, leaving the Bearcats a little bit handcuffed in terms of bench options right now. Jackson with Brock in her face, rattles it home.
She was quiet, but when her team needs her, she's always ready to make the big play.
How does Maya Jackson change the Cincinnati offense?
She's poised, she understands time and score, she understands tempo. And for a team that plays fast, it's very important to have that type of person who can kind of keep a pulse and keep the rhythm.
Oh, that's not good there for Tennessee Tech. Brock got tripped, and then her head went right into the knee of a Cincinnati defender.
Yikes. Those are the unexpected, inadvertent collisions that happen in the game. She's being looked at. She seems to be okay as she catches her breath there. And you know, today in shoot-around, the Bearcats, you know, were very aware of similar situations. They had 2 players collide, and they get shooken up a little bit.
Of course, anytime you have any sort of collision in the head or neck area, it's going to come to the forefront of attention and focus. And of course, you don't mess around with stuff like that. And Brock's still struggling to get to her feet. For a player that's already gone through so much in her career, missed all of last season with an injury. Program's all-time leader in three-point makes, multi-time all-conference selection for Tennessee Tech, and she'll try to shake that one off. But of course, anytime it involves the head or neck or anything like that, you're going to take extra caution.
Yes, take your time, take your breath. You know, like you say, let the butterflies, the butterflies go away and stop seeing stars.
Well, hopefully Brock's okay. They, of course, have to sub her out now. Tennessee Tech possession. Good cut inside by Reagan Grimes. Doesn't get the roll.
You talk about the impact of Jackson defensively, and just even that little way she's able to play post defense and still allow the Bearcats to come up with a stop to allow Hayes to get the rebound.
Milton doesn't have the offensive bucket. Hurst fires for Tennessee Tech, and Trotter collects the miss. Deja Trotter, junior college All-American last season. Hayes with a tough drive, called for the offensive foul. Grimes slides her feet to get in front.
When you play the way Tech plays, where they're a little undersized almost across the board at every position right now, you've got to be ready to step in and take the charge. They've read the scouting report on Hayes. She's a great driver. She can attack from that high post. So kudos to the Tennessee Tech scout for stepping in on the Hayes charge. Now, will Hayes add that kind of pull-up to her game in the future? We'll see as the season goes on.
Tennessee Tech was a much bigger team last season in terms of size. They had 2 post players on the court really at all times last season, but a little bit smaller, a little more athletic, more perimeter oriented this season. And they want to thrive on that defensive end because Kim Rosamond believes that if you play good defense, that's going to help you out on the offensive end.
Defense creates the offense. Everyone knows that saying, and then defense wins championships, while offense, yeah, it just sells TV ratings.
That's the flashy stuff.
We used to say tickets, now we just say TV ratings, right?
It's good to sell both, though.
Of course, of course.
Good backdoor cut. Tennessee Tech done a nice job with that. It leads to Grimes wide open in the middle for 2. That backdoor cut, AB, has been lethal here for Tennessee Tech.
You know, it's interesting now the Bearcats continually to get beat on that backdoor, whether it's from the corner or from the wing. They've got to see it coming.
Bearcats still lead by 2. Milton, the hesitation. Williams has her miss, and back out to Milton. Second chance opportunity for Cincinnati. Jackson inside the arc. Carter collects the rebound.
That's a tough shot, that pull up to the little sidestep by Jackson, but she makes it look so easy.
Carter turns it right back over. Williams leaks ahead for the Bearcats. Trotter has the miss, and she misses. Jada Scott fighting through traffic. Deflected on the way up. Scott again. Finally, the Bearcats get it to go.
Anthony, I almost had a flashback with all that rebounding. I thought that was Doris Scott in there, but the other number 10, Scott, just crashing the boards, going up strong, getting the offensive and one.
Certainly helping to pad the offensive rebound stat for Cincinnati. Carter left alone, that rims out. And a good block out by Scott. Taken away by Hurst. Both teams struggling around the rim. But Gwynn lays it in.
So this is that point in the game where you really appreciate what Maya Jackson can do. She's going to try to manage this tempo and get the ball moved around.
Yeah, slowing it down a little bit here. Extra pass to Scott down low. Both teams really struggling around the basket. Carter to Hurst for 3. Tennessee Tech started the game on fire. They haven't hit one from long range in a little while now.
You know, you mentioned earlier how they may not go very deep, and you wonder if the team is setting up.
Williams connects from long range. Just the second make for Cincinnati from downtown.
Williams, their first 3 of the season, as she didn't put one up against Louisville, but she's got the ability to make that shot and open up the court.
It was a homecoming for Malaya Williams. Played at Louisville her freshman year before transferring, now her second year in Cincinnati. And a travel called along the baseline for Reagan Grimes. 3:58 to go, second quarter. Cincinnati by 5 after the 3 from Malaya Williams to extend the lead. Michelle Clark-Hurd really likes this Cincinnati group. AB, they return a ton this season. More than 130 starts, more than 60% of their scoring. Most of their returners are back this season. And if there's a season to make a little bit of a run in the American, this could be it with all that production coming back.
You love their experience, and you know, when you have that type of experience and then the new energy, we see Coach Gordon out there on the court, the new energy from the coaches, that's really going to set the stage for them to make that run, like you said.
And we showed the graphic earlier about the newbies for Cincinnati this season, just 3 of them. And Michelle Clark-Hurd liked that combination of having more returners than newcomers. She feels this team has gelled pretty well this season. One of the key returners, Jillian Hayes, now with 12 points after the layup.
Keeping culture consistent year after year and being able to integrate the newcomers into the culture as opposed to having the culture being overrun by the attention of the newcomers was a great decision. That just shows, you know, as they like to say, that's why she's the head coach.
Yes. Brought in a new staff this season. Bridgette Gordon, Maya Johnson, Devrin Paul to help her out on the Cincinnati bench, but only 3 new players. After the Tennessee Tech turnover, Cincinnati a chance to extend the lead. Good pass down low. Hayes gets the roll, and she's fouled. 14 and counting for Jillian Hayes.
Anthony, this is what's so beautiful about that play. How did Hayes get wide open? Well, because the Bearcats had Ariel Jackson in the corner. The defense could not leave the corner. Therefore, they were late on the rotation. Hence, Hayes with the layup and Milton with the assist.
Hayes coming off what Michelle Clark-Hurd said was probably the worst game of her career. 3 points, 0 for 9 from the field, and she fouled out. And quickly making up for it today.
You know, it's tough to bounce back after a game like that, but as you know, they say, you win some, you lose some. You got to move on, and next game, next man up.
Cowart follows her miss and gets the rebound. Tennessee Tech now with 9 offensive rebounds, but they turn it over. Jackson in transition, lays it in. Timeout, Tennessee Tech. What was a close game through the first quarter and a half, really. All of a sudden, Cincinnati now up by 12 points.
You know, the first thing that we noticed shifted the momentum was the free throws. Driving the ball, attacking the basket, and getting to the free throw line. Then the press. Once the Bearcats started picking up the pressure, then the game can open up.
And it certainly helps when Jillian Hayes starts to come alive. 15 points on 6 of 8 from the field.
You really like the way that Hayes is playing, and we mentioned that she's got no sub right now, so she's putting up these numbers and putting forth this effort. A little winded. It looks like she's going to get a quick breather here, maybe coming out of the timeout, give a chance to regroup, and then get right back in.
Now you called that. Hayes is going to get a little bit of a breather here. It'll be Milton, Jackson, Craig, Williams, and Wilson for Cincinnati. Cowart, Hurst, Brock, Owens, and Walker for Tennessee Tech. Good to see Brock back out there after taking the knee to the head a couple of minutes ago.
Now, like anything, do not slip on the Golden Eagles, especially with the way that they shoot the 3 ball. So this Bearcat defense has to stay locked in.
Cowart for 3. And the Golden Eagles are still ice cold. They were 3 of 10 in the first quarter. They are 0 for 4 from deep in the second. Wilson catch and shoot. That is what she does best.
Right on time, Caitlin Wilson. We love the way that she plays, and she's just so confident in doing what she does best.
She has led the American Athletic Conference in 3-pointers each of the last 2 years. Made 58 a season ago. Owens, still cold. Walker collects the miss. And she throws it away. Never mind a 3 right now, AB. Feels like Tennessee Tech just needs a basket.
They do. And the Bearcats need a rebound. That is too many offensive rebounds for Tech. So as Tech's not scoring on their first possession, they've also now got to try to find a way to capitalize on these offensive rebound opportunities if they're going to not let this get away from them.
10 offensive rebounds, but shooting just 22% from the floor. They've turned it over 9 times, not helping their cause. Williams has that partially blocked by Malia Owens. Leads to a Tennessee Tech break. And they'll slow it up. 1.5 minutes to go in the half. Owens with the strong drive, and a lid still on the bucket.
Yeah, the Bearcats are getting what we would call lucky at this point. They've got to lock down defensively and not get beat off the dribble.
Craig down low, blocked by Walker from behind. And a foul on the Williams miss. Cincinnati starting to impose its will down low with all their height.
You know, you like to see how Milton, with no fear, went right inside and got the ball into Craig so she can do what she does. She missed the shot, but like you say, attacking off the boards.
Well, that goes to the rebounding that Kim Rosamond talked about. She said, look, we're smaller. We're not going to be out-jumping any of these teams for rebounds. It is a fundamental commitment and a priority for us to just box out, find a body and box out. They're doing it on the offensive glass. They have to start doing it on the defensive glass.
They must. Malia Williams already with 2 offensive rebounds on the night, and she's got her hand on several.
1 of 2 at the line for Williams. Cincinnati will get another possession. Tipped out of bounds off the free throw miss.
So Hayes got her rest. She's coming in for Williams now.
About a minute to go, second quarter. Craig has to go through her legs. Hayes collects it, 10 to shoot. Milton working in the lane, stopping at the free throw line. And over the back foul called against Clarissa Craig, her 3rd foul.
That one was tough. That one was tough. She was going after an offensive rebound and probably should have let the second touch go, but that's why it's important for her not to pick up the kind of ticky-tacks earlier, so when you do go for an offensive rebound with under a minute and a half, you can secure it.
4 minutes and 3 fouls for Craig. That's a kick by Hayes. So over the course of this season now, 12 minutes for Craig. She has committed 8 fouls.
You know, it's one of those things that it's tough. She will get her footwork and her feet under her. She's still young. It's important to remember these ladies are still, some of them are still pretty young, so it'll get together.
3 on 2, Hayes tried to draw the block, but a good sidestep by Brock. Leads to the miss. Tennessee Tech a chance, if they wish, for the final shot of the half. They just need a bucket. 14-0 run for Cincinnati over the last 4+ minutes. Hurst to the corner, Brock for 3. Yes, finally, the drought is over for Tennessee Tech. 2 seconds left for Jackson. Williams doesn't get it away. That was Wilson, I beg your pardon. So finally, Tennessee Tech gets one to go. The 3 from Brock breaks a 4+ minute scoring drought. And Tennessee Tech down by 13 going into the locker room. Tennessee Tech started out so well,
keeping that pressure defense
but Cincinnati started to
Tech
heat up as the half went along. They lead by 13. Cincinnati went on a 14-3 run over the last 4 minutes and 25 seconds of the second quarter, and they lead by 13 at halftime here in Cincinnati. Second half coming up in just a couple of moments. But first, top plays around the American.
Hello and welcome into the American Studios. I'm Morgan Huber. With basketball tipping off on Monday, soon we'll be having plenty. Hello and welcome into the American Studios. I'm Morgan Huber. With basketball tipping off on Monday, soon we'll be having plenty of hoops plays in our top plays of the week segment. But right now we have 3 other sports this week, including a golf play that even has Tom Brady talking. You've got to see it to believe it. But first we've got football at number 5, a game that literally rewrote the record books. Houston at SMU, 42-21, and we're just here in the first half as quarterback Clayton Tune takes a deep shot to the end zone, and it's a jump ball for Houston's Keyshawn Carter, making the grab over the defender's head. Carter showing fight and mossing his way to a TD. The final score, 77-63, SMU wins. At number 4, UCF at Memphis, 7-all here in the second quarter. Quarterback Mikey Keene out wide, UCF in a wildcat formation here with running back Isaiah Bowser. Bowser lobs a jump pass to the tight end, Stephen Martin. It's Martin's first TD of the season, putting the Knights back in front, and UCF goes on to win 35-28. At number 3, American Women's Soccer Championship action between Memphis and SMU. The Tigers up 1-0. The Mustangs in desperation, and Claire Wyville makes a diving stop, leaping through the air, giving it all she's got to keep SMU off the board, and that she does. Memphis wins it 1-0 in OT and continues their postseason as they go on to the NCAA tournament. At number 2, back to football, South Florida at Temple. Owls up by 12, threatening in the red zone. E.J. Warner airs one out to Adonica Sanders, uses just one hand to haul in this impressive TD. And when you make a play like that, man, you get to celebrate on the sidelines with your team, and the Owls end up going on to roll 54-28. An ace of a lifetime at number 1. We've got men's golf, a first for top plays. It's SMU freshman Christian Clark here at the famous 16th hole of the Cypress Point Golf Club at Pebble Beach. A 230-yard par 3. And if you look hard enough, if you squint, you can see it. It is a hole-in-one for Christian Clark, an absolutely remarkable feat on one of the toughest par 3s on earth. You've got the crashing waves of the Pacific Ocean below you, and look at him soaking in the celebration with his teammates. Tom Brady even wowed by the shot, commenting on Clark's Instagram saying amazing and amazing indeed. And remember, if you ever see a great top play, let us know on social media using the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays and tweet at the American Conference at American_Conf. Stay with us right here on ESPN Plus. We're going to get you right out to your second half action next.
Back here in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bearcats with a double-digit lead over the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, looking to remain perfect under Michelle Clark-Hurd in home openers under the fifth-year head coach. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the start of the second half. A.B. Stocks and Anthony Mazzini with you. A.B. Cincinnati got off to, I don't want to say a slow start because it was back and forth, but they really exploded when that second quarter started to roll around.
When Cincinnati changed up their defenses and really started varying the ways that they were putting pressure on the Golden Eagles, it really opened up. And then, like you mentioned, most important, they started driving the basketball and attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line.
Now, Tennessee Tech was on fire from three to get this game started. That helped them open up the early lead. After that, Cincinnati started to go down low. Jillian Hayes started to erupt, and that's when the success started to come in.
The presence that Hayes has down low and her ability to finish with either hand and then drive and attack with either hand really opened it up the court for the Bearcats. And then with Williams crashing the boards, getting offensive rebounds. She has 3 offensive rebounds so far this half.
Yeah, a lot of misses around the rim, a little bit uncharacteristic for both of these teams. But as we take a look at how that first half went along here, it seemed like Cincinnati, once they started to go down low, three-point shot wasn't really falling for them, but when they went down low, they're a bigger team, they're a taller team, that's when they had their most success.
When the Bearcats put the pressure on and forced tough passes and are able to get deflections and rebounds and steals, really push in transition and opens up the court for them a lot. And you mentioned Hayes' impact at the rim. Last year for the Bearcats, she really did a lot of her damage on the perimeter. So for her to change it up now, she's still moving the ball, getting the assist to Jackson, but also driving and scoring low inside herself.
Now Tennessee Tech really struggled as that second quarter went along. They had a scoreless drought of more than 4 minutes. You're hoping for Tennessee Tech that Brock 3 right before halftime might give them a little momentum, something to hang their hat on, because it was a long time without any points for Tennessee Tech.
Yes. Tennessee Tech is going to go as Brock goes. They need her to do everything, and the Bearcats have really locked in on her defensively.
Some good passing from Tennessee Tech led to some buckets, but next thing you know, it was a big Cincinnati lead, and they lead by 13 at halftime. Tennessee Tech shooting just 23.5% from the field. A lot of rebounds, but they're being outscored 18-8 in the paint.
Points in the paint are what's really highlighting the game for the Bearcats. Not just from Hayes, not just from Williams, but the perimeter players driving it in as well. We've seen the force of Ariel Jackson driving straight at the basket. And then, of course, we have Maya Jackson able to hit it from the outside and the in. Jillian Hayes is also leading the Bearcats with the free throw attempts. We'd like to see if they can get more than 9 free throw attempts here in the second half. But continue to put the pressure on. Tech has 10 turnovers. That right there is going to continue to open up the game for the Bearcats.
Well, speaking of Jillian Hayes, leading everybody with 15 points. Nobody is in double figures for Tennessee Tech. So Hayes with 15 and Maya Jackson with 8, both shooting 60% or better from the floor.
And both of them doing their job defensively as well. Maya Jackson, 2 steals with her defensive prowess and pressure out there on the ball.
Yes, Tennessee Tech needs to take a much better job of controlling onto the basketball. 10 turnovers in that first half compared to 4 for Cincinnati. They rebounded well. They're actually out-rebounding Cincinnati by 3. But the turnovers and that long scoring drought is really what did Tennessee Tech in that first half.
And talking about the rebounding, it's surprising to see that in addition to Tech out-rebounding Bearcats, that they have 10 offensive rebounds. You know, with the size and the athleticism, the aggressiveness of the Bearcats, you'd like to see them secure more of those backstops and, you know, stop letting them go Eagles get on those offensive boards.
Well, when you only shoot about 25% from the floor, you're bound to have some offensive rebounds because that means you've missed a lot. So I guess those go hand in hand. Tennessee Tech tries to turn that around here in the second half. Bearcats by 12 coming out of the break. Jackson misses with the left to get things started for Cincinnati.
Bearcats coming out in their man-to-man. We've seen them play a 2-3 zone. We've seen them press. We've seen them go man. We've seen them switch. A lot of different defensive looks.
Hurst with the second chance, and she banks it in. So Tennessee Tech has scored 5 unanswered going back to the end of the first half. Hayes left open, swatted away by Hurst, sliding over defensively. In transition, Hurst running the floor. A collision under the basket as both teams go flying in. And a jump ball called.
Well, that was a fast change of events there.
Yeah.
Hayes, what looked like should be a wide open layup, ends up not being, and then on the other end, giving up a wide open layup. Tennessee Tech not able to capitalize though, but kudos to them for running the court, pushing it in transition.
We're seeing a lot of misses right under the basket. Is that more of a defensive thing, AB, or is that a lack of concentration from some of these players?
Well, some of them are tough. Like that shot by Jackson is a really tough angle. And for her to have to rotate, and she'll get that skill where she can rotate her wrist to get the spin on it. And as some of the players back in the day say, get that old English on it so it can roll in.
Good defense from Jackson here, working on Quinn. Second chance doesn't go for Walker, but it's going to stay. No, it's going to go back to Cincinnati. So many of these tip passes and tip balls out of bounds, and now Kim Rosamond is very unhappy with this officiating crew.
Looks like she has officially been warned.
Crystal Apollonese calming Kim Rosamond down, joined by John Capolino and Rob Fessler. Jackson, quick first step, sends it out to Hayes. She's worked on that shot.
Nice and easy. You can't get much better than that. On the screen, a roll and a rise.
Bearcats up by 13, start of the third quarter. Tip pass by Jackson. Cincinnati denying everything on the perimeter right now.
Somehow Tech was able to come out of that possession retaining the ball. But yeah, the deflections, Cincinnati getting their hands on the balls, all of those things make a difference.
Dribble handoff to Brock, 4 to shoot. Brock has to think about getting it up. Backdoor again to Gwynn. Right as the buzzer goes off, but the shot doesn't fall. Long outlet for Jada Scott. And through the back of the end zone, it'll be 2nd and 10.
You gotta like the way that she ran the court, and she did almost look like a receiver out there, sprinting with her arms up in the air. And I don't know much about quarterbacking, but it looked like that would have been a good pass.
Needed a little more height on the receiving end, just over the head of Jada Scott. It's nice to see both of these teams want to get out and run, though. You know, that transition offense is going to be so crucial for both of these teams this season.
It is, and the Bearcats have the edge because they have the depth. So if they can keep their depth, oh, we see another quarterback pass.
There's Gwynn. An easy 2 for Tennessee Tech.
The only quarterback reference I have is a former UC Bearcat quarterback, Chad Plummer, from back in the 90s.
They've had a lot of good ones here at Cincinnati. Jaden Scott, I beg your pardon, for the 2. Bearcats throw that pressure back on again. Looks like they're sticking in that man-to-man, AB. Hurst puts it on the floor. Spinning in the lane. That's a tough shot over Scott. Reagan Hurst had 16 points in her Tennessee Tech debut on Monday. She redshirted last season. And after the game, she said, I could only watch last season. I was so excited to finally get out on the floor and play. Williams backing her way in. Another back door. Brock has that shot altered by Hayes. Long outlet for Jackson. Sets the feet for 3. Jada Scott tries to save it, but her foot was on the baseline.
You got to wonder how long, as you say, both teams are going to be able to keep up this pace of transition, quick shot, quick shot.
And right on cue, they're both going to make substitutions. Brock and Hurst are out for Tennessee Tech. Carter and Cowart come back in. Hayes and Jackson out for Cincinnati. Williams and Wilson in for the Bearcats. Looking for that home run pass again against this Bearcats press, but they play it safe to Peyton Carter. Yeah, is something like that sustainable over the course of a 30-game season, just pressing all the time?
If you have the depth, then yes, it is. And if you practice that way, if you train that way, if your conditioning and your strength and conditioning program is structured to allow for that, then yes, it is sustainable.
Grimes trips on the drive. She'll go to the line for a couple. Cincinnati loves that press. They love to switch the defenses. Kim Rosamond talked about it. Depth figures to be Tennessee Tech's strength as well this season, and they're going to need all of it tonight.
Well, and overall, no matter what program you're with, in order to play that pace all season long, we mentioned strength conditioning, but it also includes your athletic training staff, your facilities, your nutrition. It's a holistic input that goes in to allow these athletes to play this pace this long and, as you say, this many games over the course of the season.
I bet you loved games like this, running up and down from your track days at Cincinnati as well.
Actually, I did. The fun pace. We had great teammates, and Coach Pirtle really liked us to keep that pace and keep our foot on the pedal, constantly going. And then, when you transition over to track, Coach Schneer, the legendary Bill Schneer, he said, hey, we've seen you run on the basketball court. Just keep running like that.
Were you the fastest on your team?
I'd like to say yes, but of course, as soon as I say that, I'm probably going to have 15 text messages from teammates saying, excuse me.
Jaden Scott called for the offensive foul. Subtle confidence. It's good to have.
I'll say this. She's my homie, so I can say I was faster than Doris Scott, number 10, the first number 10, Scott, number 10. As we see our Scott, number 10, right here with this ball pressure. Does that count for anything?
Sure does. Sure does. Now, a lot of Scots. Jaden and Jada's brother played men's basketball here at Cincinnati, American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago. Now, Tennessee Tech, a couple of stops on the defensive end. They have this at a single-digit deficit now. It's down to 9. Good dump down low to Hill, but she doesn't have the finish. There's that senior leadership by Maya Jackson slowing it down to set up a good shot here for Cincinnati. Wilson catch and shoot. It's good.
What was so beautiful about that possession was Wilson was open real early in the possession. But as you said, Jackson wanted to keep the pace under her control. So she waited until they could manage the clock a little bit better and still capitalize and get Wilson the wide open 3.
She is 2 for 2 from downtown, accounting for all 6 of her points. And the Bearcats back up by double figures. Catch and shoot for Malia Owens.
So that is how Tennessee Tech will quickly creep back into this game, is from the 3-point line. Whatever defensive strategy Cincinnati employs, they must guard the 3.
Off the head of Trotter, and Jackson cleans it up for the lay-in. Deja Trotter skied for the rebound. It clanked off her head, and Jackson had the second chance.
Trotter with her 4th rebound now of the game.
Kiara Hill looking for space down low. She's blocked by Scott. And a timeout on the floor. The ball goes out of bounds. An 11-point lead for Cincinnati. 3:51 to go in the third. Cincinnati up by 11, but Tennessee Tech keeping it close inside Fifth Third Arena. talk a little bit of Tennessee Tech. They're down by 11 against Cincinnati today. Coming up from Cookeville, Tennessee, a little over 10,000 enrollment. We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. Sneakily, one of the best women's basketball programs ever. 994 wins. They should get to 1,000 this year unless things go completely off the rails for the Golden Eagles. Top 25 winningest program all time.
Amazing. And I mean, just again, we talk about across the board. I mean, to have success like that year in and year out, that goes to the president, to the athletic director, to the entire university, to the community. You know that Tennessee Tech is a place where all of Cookeville is going to get behind their Golden Eagles.
I mean, in recent women's college basketball, you think of Notre Dame and UConn and South Carolina, just to name a few, but Tennessee Tech right up there. They get to that 1,000 win mark, they'll be in some elite company. Schroeder catches and knocks down the three.
Again, we look at Schroeder, led JUCO scoring, one of the top best all-time scorers in the junior college landscape here with the Bearcats right now.
Conference Player of the Year last year at Rend Lake College. Maya Jackson with the steal and the lay-in.
So this is, again, that defense turning into offense, the pressure, the steals, quick layups.
And timeout, Kim Rosamond, her third out of 4. That's a big swing right there. The 3 and then the lay-in goes from an 11-point lead to a 16-point lead just like that.
And once you can surpass 20, then that gives you a little bit of chance to maybe take a breath. But we'll see how Tennessee Tech responds.
Jillian Hayes so far a quiet second half, just 2 points, but 17 on the night. She averaged 11 and a half last season and off to a good start to her season, especially after that tough game against Louisville on Monday night, really rebounding here in this second game of the season tonight.
This is a type of a game where Jillian Hayes really needs to showcase her variety of skill on the court. She's going to be able to thrive inside. She's going to be able to drive from the high post, shoot the 3, and push in transition. But what's really standing out right now is her defensive presence inside and how she's holding it down on the paint for the Bearcats.
Michelle Clark-Hurd said that confidence is a big key for Jillian Hayes. She puts so much pressure on herself. She's a perfectionist. She's from Loveland, Ohio, a local kid, wants to do so well. And every now and then when it doesn't go right, she hangs her head a little bit. But Michelle Clark-Hurd said, even in a bad game, I'm still going to go back to her because she's earned that right.
You love the way that coach instills confidence in the players to reiterate those points and just really build them up. Nothing's more threatening than a confident athlete.
Walker steps outside and she knocks in the three. Kim Rosamond said that Anna Walker is such a mismatched nightmare because she's a forward that can shoot the three.
Those types of combinations are really tough to guard.
Trotter from the corner. Walker has the miss. Walker is really the height for this Tennessee Tech team this season. Lost some of their front court from last year. Smaller Tennessee Tech team. Dribble handoff to Gwynn. Now to Hurst. And a foul called.
So you see the Bearcats are strategically switching these handoffs and ball screens. There wasn't a ball screen in that possession, but the Bearcats, in an effort to not get beat on the back door, are allowing this handoff exchange to go into the weave action. Switching some, not switching others. There's got to be consistent communication on the defensive strategy.
Seems like Tennessee Tech would prefer to play against this man defense for Cincinnati, the way that those backdoor screens and backdoor cuts have activated. Here's Owens for another triple. Back to within 10.
Owens now with 12 points for Tennessee Tech, the best three-point shooter they have right now on the court.
Good deflection by Walker as she goes into the first row to save it. Another chance to get it to single digits. Hurst looking for that backdoor cut. It wasn't there. Owens again, long range. Hurst has the miss. Fresh 20 for Tennessee Tech, but Reagan Hurst travels.
So again, another look at what you mentioned before. When you're shooting such a low shooting percentage, Tech shooting 28% from the field, there's going to be a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities. And particularly with the way they shoot the three, there's going to be long rebounds. Cincinnati has to box out and secure even the long rebounds. With their length, there's no excuse for Tennessee Tech to have 15 offensive rebounds right now.
Jackson the and one. Head of steam to the bucket. That's where the size inside that Tennessee Tech had last year would come in handy this season.
Attacking downhill, Maya Jackson and Ariel Jackson is going to be unstoppable unless, like you say, get a big body down there to block those shots or alter. What do they call them? A rim protector.
Rim protector. And it doesn't always have to be a block, right? Just someone to alter that shot.
A presence.
Yes.
And you know, you even mentioned, I'm sure Coach Rosamond has mentioned this too, to be able to take a charge.
Yeah.
Where's the rotations to slide in, someone take a charge?
Grimes took one earlier, but we haven't seen one since for Tennessee Tech.
No.
Off-ball foul.
Okay, so that official seemed, and again, I know everyone out here doing the best they can do, but perhaps to be waiting on it a little bit because it didn't seem like a lot of contact. You have a Division I athlete in Clarissa Craig making a cut to the basket, and was there a little flop? Maybe it was like the soccer athletes, you know how they just kind of.
Hey, I played soccer.
Hey. And a track star.
Yes, I was, a little bit. I don't know about star, but.
Hey, we're all the stars.
I was on the
you
team.
weren't.
I was on the team. They let me run.
We've seen your records, your numbers.
They're at the bottom of the trash bin. So that's the fourth foul by Craig, by the way, and she has to go to the bench again. Tennessee Tech goes back to the line with Jordan Brock, her first free throws of the night.
But the question is, did you flop?
I did not, no.
Okay.
I did not. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
No soccer athlete admits that.
No.
Where's the footballers out here? We need more footballers up in this arena. navigate this back and forth.
No flopping for me. 2 for 2 for Jordan Brock. Brock, one of 3 preseason All-Ohio Valley Conference selections. Playing like it tonight. 7 points, 2 of 5 from downtown. Jackson, a roundabout way to the bucket. Hayes has the rebound, but blocked by Hurst.
A lot of contact. And this is where it's interesting. So the Craig contact was seemingly illegal, and there's a lot of contact on Hayes. And I mean, of course, I'm perhaps a little bit biased, but
dribble handoff to Jackson. Stutter step. And there's some more contact.
This is one of those things where the attacking at the rim is going to be extremely beneficial. And when Cincinnati can allow their perimeter players to keep attacking like Jackson is doing, the whistle seems to be going in their favor. Is that a fair statement?
I'd say so. Jackson at the line right now. Cincinnati going with that 2-guard look. We haven't seen much Braylon Milton in this second half.
Hayes with 3 free throws for the Bearcats, and Maya Jackson with 4 free throw attempts.
They've gotten to the line tonight. Cincinnati is 8 of 12 from the free throw line. Grimes drives it hard, swatted by Hayes. Jillian Hayes last season averaged more than a block per game. Really an all-around player for Cincinnati. Foul on the interior, on the inbound. Ariel Jackson the foul. That is the 5th foul on Cincinnati, so they're over the limit. And Reagan Hurst at the line.
We love our band, the Bearcat band, getting in the game.
Singing happy birthday to Reagan Hurst as she's at the line. That's 1 of 2.
I love the energy here in the arena from the fans, the band.
The heave from Nia Jackson is off the mark, and Cincinnati goes into the 4th quarter up by 11. Tennessee Tech just not going away. Just an 11-point lead for Cincinnati, although it still feels like Tennessee Tech is right there within reach. Tennessee Tech still within reach in this game. They're only down by 11. Cincinnati has not really closed the door yet on the Golden Eagles as we get started here in the fourth quarter. Anthony Mazzini and AB Stocks with you. Anna Walker is on double-double watch for Tennessee Tech. 7 points, 11 rebounds. A lot of rebounds in this game. Tennessee Tech has really hit the glass well in this game, and Walker leading the way with 11 rebounds today.
We like how she's attacking the basket and getting those rebounds. 11 rebounds is difficult, particularly in a game like this. Cincinnati has the size advantage. So this is straight hustle and effort and grit by Anna Walker.
7 and 11 going to the fourth quarter. Brock starts it off with a triple try, and she's a little long. So one and done on that possession for Tennessee Tech to start the fourth.
Tech compacting the defense in here with the zone.
Jackson working inside that zone, now peels out. Long skip to Milton, who's back out there to start the fourth. Walker with a steal on the baseline. That's that length in that zone, denying that entry pass.
You know, Tech is going back to that in Cincinnati, continuing the pressure, but it looks like they're going to try to not give up as many backdoor cuts and see what we saw there. Maybe allow a few more threes.
Owens misses, and Scott has the rebound. Well, both teams starting out in zone. Jada Scott, too strong. Milton skies in for the miss, and she lays it in.
In perfect Walker style, Milton grabbing the long rebound, going in and finishing with the left.
Just 3 points today for Braylon Milton. She's 1 for 8 from the floor, coming off a career high 28 against Louisville, a game she only missed 3 shots. Walker working inside and missing on the left. Jackson leaking out, running into the fender, and it's an offensive foul. Jada Gwynn takes the charge.
You know, that's a tough call. You see Jackson has a body control and is actually able to shift her momentum laterally. So she shifts and is able to get her body to go a little bit left. Still picks up the charge.
That's more of what you were talking about earlier, though, for Tennessee Tech, right? Having someone not necessarily a shot-blocking team, someone willing to step in and draw that contact.
And best believe now the Bearcats are going to think a little bit more before they drive it in there, knowing that that charge is an option for the defense.
Kudos to Gwynn, putting the officials in a position to make that call. Nothing doing on the offensive end for the Golden Eagles, though. Jackson, it's a long 2. She gets slapped in the face after, and Walker picks up the foul. Jackson's all right, quickly back up to her feet. But a foul on the closeout by Anna Walker.
There's a lot of things to appreciate about Jackson's game, but it's undeniable that the pull-up, that mid-range game is really special. And, you know, we talked about her being a daughter of a WNBA superstar, Kim Hampton.
As someone who was in the NBA or WNBA for a long time, when you have those bloodlines like that, does that naturally draw you in an evaluation process to somebody like Ariel Jackson?
You know, I would say in this case it would, because, again, we talked about Kim Hampton, 3 seasons with the New York Liberty. She was on the inaugural All-Star team for the WNBA. You know that she's going to have her daughter at least in the right mindset, the competitiveness, that grit and that grind. So, yes, those types of things do actually make a difference.
And of course, you actually have to go out there on the court and prove it.
100%.
But the mindset and the makeup is there.
Yes, you do give credit for sometimes, you know, for coaches' kids in a sense, and for athletes who have been around the game for life.
Even just to play like that, willing to do the nitty-gritty and step in there and play some defense.
Chances are, if things don't go well with Coach Clark Hurd, Ariel's not calling home and complaining and getting a lot of sympathy. Her mom's saying, roll up your sleeves, baby, you got it.
Cincinnati trying to extend the lead here. They're up by 14. Milton off the bottom of the backboard. That's a tough layup. I think she got tripped a little bit. Here's Grimes. Steps over the defender, and she lays it in. Foul called, and a chance for three for Reagan Grimes.
The Golden Eagles will not go away. They keep inching their way back into this game. And they're doing it, and they're also getting to the free throw line. Now, the Bearcats have to be careful here that they're not putting themselves in a situation where free throws will be their Achilles heel just in this fourth quarter.
Tennessee Tech shot so well at the free throw line to ice that game against Ball State on Monday. They were 22 of 25. Tonight, they've only gone to the line 9 times, and they're 7 of 9. So still a good percentage, but not getting to the line as much as they did on Monday. Saved on the baseline, Bearcats turn it over.
You got to wonder if just that, we talk again, go back to rim protector, the size of the Bearcats is a little intimidating for Tennessee Tech as they're thinking to drive, and they're just preferring to get the three-point shots.
Yeah, they've shot 23 times from long range. Owens, razzle-dazzle on the inside there. She's getting hot.
Not intimidated Owens from the arc or from inside.
14 points from Malia Owens. Kim Rosamond said confidence is key with Owens. She makes a couple of buckets and she'll get hot. Tipped out of bounds. Off the hands of Quinn. 10-point lead for Cincinnati. They'll bring in a couple of subs. You know, we talked about it during a break a few moments ago, AB. You know, a 10-point lead is a 10-point lead, however you draw it up. Cincinnati has control, but it's not convincing right now.
It's not, and you notice the interesting sub because of it's not convincing. The freshman is out, and the experienced Trotter comes in the game. And to have that experience to just kind of mellow things out, make sure that they retain possessions, because this is not a convincing win yet for the Bearcats.
Cincinnati gets back on the board with Jackson. Owens streaking in, can't get it to go. Grimes is blocked by Williams. Hurst has it again. No reset on the shot clock here for Tennessee Tech. Another backdoor cut, and Carter misses. At a wide open lane to the bucket. Wilson. Both teams flying around, pace is picking up. And a dive on the floor by Jackson and Gwynn. And it'll be Tennessee Tech basketball.
Great hustle. And the tempo, you mentioned when to push, when to stop, and long offensive rebound opportunity for the Bearcats. They've got to keep crashing on those.
Seems like when one team pushes, the other team pushes. They're just following suit. Whatever one decides to do, the other does. And right now, both teams want to push. Inside pass to Hayes, some contact, and a block.
Textbook offense. You like to see Wilson with that high-low pass. And see, notice in that possession, even on the miss, Williams getting in the action. So now you want to compare a little bit the block calls there with the charge calls. So even though it wasn't a charge, there's still, Tennessee Tech is still making its presence known on defense and not allowing the bigs to just have the basket.
Well, we're still in early season form. They didn't know that there was 2 shots there, both flying in for the rebound. And Tennessee Tech really making its presence felt underneath the basket. Hayes goes 0 for 2, but Trotter tracks it down. Jackson left open. Too strong. Trotter again with the rebound.
Trotter is all over the court for the Bearcats. This is what they need. They need that energy from her. Not just her scoring, but her high energy.
As well as Tennessee Tech has rebounded tonight. They let a couple squeak by here. Hayes banks it in. And those missed rebounds lead to points for Jillian Hayes. Williams with a kick.
Tennessee has Cincinnati has a variety of defenses that they like to play. They come out here putting on the pressure, slowing things down a little bit.
14-point lead for Cincinnati, starting to pull away late in the fourth. .449 to go tonight in Cincinnati. Bearcats on top by 14. After this, they have Radford on Sunday and then Toledo next Wednesday to wrap up a 3-game homestand before going on the road at Lindenwood. Bearcats play a couple of OVC teams, Lindenwood and then Southern Indiana later in the non-conference slate. Tennessee Tech after this. They play at home on Monday against Samford at 6 o'clock. Stay at home for a couple, and then they travel back down this way. They play Northern Kentucky. The Norse just 20 or so minutes south of Cincinnati. Tennessee Tech out of the OVC, picked to finish first in the conference this year, trying to come away with a win on the road tonight. That'll help. Out of immediate timeout, Reagan Grimes rattles in a 3.
Especially coming out of a timeout, the Bearcats have to be locked in with their defensive strategies.
Seems like Tennessee Tech keeps getting it to 10 or 11, but they just can't get over that hump. They could use a stop here, but Trotter left open for 3. That's too easy.
That was beautiful timing and beautiful spacing by the Bearcats. The ball goes inside to Hayes. Trotter started at the top of the key, took time to drift all the way wide to the wing to get that open gap.
Jackson almost with a steal. Williams coming in from behind to help. Grimes leaves the bunny short. Williams through traffic makes the catch. Hayes collects the miss. Williams has her miss. Battling with Brock, it goes out to Jackson. No look inside to Hayes. Bodies flying. Another miss for Cincinnati.
Everyone's gonna say it. Use the backboard, big girl.
A lot of misses for both teams all night, right around the rim. Stop and start for Brock. Tied up with Hayes. And the possession arrow keeps it with Tennessee Tech.
Going back to a football reference, that area of the court, that red zone, when you're in there, you've got to convert, especially when you have that many possessions, those many opportunities to score. And defensively, Williams and Hayes, again, getting down there, getting their hands on balls, trapping the defense, trapping as the defense.
Walker muscling that up, but it rolls off the rim. And some unluckiness for Jada Gwynn off her hands and out of bounds.
Nice to see Clarissa Craig getting some more action.
She's playing with 4 fouls for Cincinnati. 1 more and she's out. Trying to establish that position inside, but it stays on the perimeter for the Bearcats. Jackson fakes inside, takes the outside shot, almost banked that in. Long rebound again.
Great hustle.
As well as Tennessee Tech has rebounded on the offensive glass tonight, defensive rebounding has really been an issue.
You know, both teams are really battling inside, and they're not letting anything be taken for granted. You like to see Craig's hustle again, going all the way out. She's got 1 rebound on the night and is hunting for another.
Sophia Grizzali in for Cincinnati. Trotter turns it over. Owens rifles it right through her. She almost loses it. Grizzali with the trap along the sideline. And it goes back to Cincinnati.
You talk about Cincinnati using depth in the season. This is where it's going to be important. You know, Grizzali getting these minutes, Craig getting her feet up under her as the season's getting underway.
Everybody has played tonight for Cincinnati. Smaller roster this season, but everybody has played. All 13 players. 10 to shoot for Cincinnati, 2 minutes and change to go in the 4th. Grizzali fakes the shot, no look to Craig. 1 second left, up and under. Williams banks it in on the second chance.
It's great ball movement by the Bearcats. Grizzali thought she had a shot, decided to reverse it instead. Just good ball movement across.
And that's an offensive foul on Jada Gwynn, using that arm bar and pushing off.
You know, as we take a look at Jillian and Coach Gordon to her left and Coach Clark-Hurd to her right, you love the Coach Clark-Hurd's relationships that she has with her players. Former players are constantly coming back to check in with Coach, to see her, to say hi. She even has today in the house a former player from her former university. So that just goes to show how wonderful she is as a coach and as a leader of these young women.
There's always a posse here with Michelle Clark-Hurd. She always has people coming in to say hello. McFarland has it stripped. On the break, Williams is fouled. Minute 16 to go. The Bearcats trying to put the finishing touches on a win here tonight. And Michelle Clark-Hurd has really cemented her roots in this area, the Kentucky and the Ohio, the Cincinnati area. Former assistant at Louisville under Jeff Walls, 6 years at Western Kentucky as the head coach. And now here at Cincinnati in her 5th year. So really this area in general, she's put a stamp on it in her time as a coach.
I mean, her start here with Lori Pirtle as an assistant here for the Bearcats is just a testament to her longevity in the game. And again, we mentioned, you know, it's not very often that a player will go visit a coach at their new school, but, you know, who hits the road with her 3 kids in tow? Chastity Gooch Fant, all the way to see her old coach, Coach Hurd.
Former assistant at Cincinnati from 2002 to 2005, then went to Louisville and Nebraska. Owens throws on the brakes. McFarland rips it away from Grizzali. And a nice pass to Hurst, but again, struggles at the rim tonight. Grimes for 3. Yes.
Great shot for Grimes, but it just may be too little too late for Tennessee Tech.
14 points, the deficit right now. They're going to get out and run here. There goes Gwynn, leading the break. Craig back defensively, and Gwynn lays it in. Now it's down to 12. It gets a little more interesting. Kim Roseman with 1 timeout. But she's going to let this play out. Shot and game clock about the same. Tennessee Tech just going to let this one play out. Craig spinning and laying it in. So that'll about do it in Cincinnati tonight. Tennessee Tech AB put up a really good fight. They had multiple leads early in this game, but as the game wore on, Cincinnati just showed its talent a little bit more tonight.
Cincinnati did a great job of bouncing back against Louisville and coming out strong here right now, getting a home opening win for the Bearcats, putting on the pressure, taking care of the boards, and finishing at the rim.
Cincinnati led tonight by 18 points from Maya Jackson, 19 points from Jillian Hayes. That basket will count, so that'll help the score a little bit, but Cincinnati wins by 11 tonight, 68-57, and they remain perfect in home openers under Michelle Clark-Hurd. 5 seasons, now 5-0. 14 points for Malia Owens, 12 points for Reagan Grimes. No double-double for Anna Walker, finishes 3 points shy, but still a good night for Walker. And Tennessee Tech cannot complete the comeback. 68-57, the final score tonight from Fifth Third Arena. For producer Carter Walsh and my broadcast partner A.B. Stocks, I'm Anthony Mazzini saying so long from Cincinnati. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of college basketball on ESPN. Have a good rest of your night. From Cincinnati, we'll see you next time.